fear is simply an unwillingness to communicate or an effort not to communicate. So what do I mean? If I'm here, let me do that. If I'm here and I'm afraid of that, yes, there must be here a block. I'm unwilling to communicate, which means there's no communication, there's no connection between me and it. There is something that's blocking it, yes? Do you agree with that? You understand? This is fear. There's no communication. So far, so good? So if you understand that this is the definition, you can understand from the definition that the handling of fear lies in improving the communication with that thing you're afraid of. You either cut a hole here and you start to communicate, you connect that line, or you just go, you bypass the barrier, or you remove the barrier. But something you somehow need to get in communication with this thing that you're afraid of in order to solve the fear. The only way to be not afraid is to face what you're afraid of. Just from the definition of the word fear. Do you understand that? And I can take any word in the English or Hebrew dictionary and show you that the definition of the word solve all the problem related, all the basic problem that the word describes. Okay? So we are looking at for the definition of the word right. Okay? And the correct definition will shed light on what is right and what is wrong in any situation, including in the corona situation. Agree or not? Yes, if the definition will be correct, it will solve the problem. Just the definition will solve the problem. You don't need to be a professor. If you have a correct definition, you solve any problem. The reason, for example, there are still problems with the atoms and still problems with the different things around the universe is the definition is not correct yet. The moment that they found, every time they have an improvement in for example, they found an improvement in the genome is because they have a more correct information of more correct definition of what's actually going on. So they don't say, well, the nerve system is blah, 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 but they say, well, there's a nervous system and it's doing that and only that. And then we've got the genome and then we have DNA and RNA and this and this and that. And they have more and more definition, and the more accurate the definition, the more solution there are. Research is done only in the direction of finding definitions. To understand it, let's look at a scenario where you have a car with 5 passengers. The car lost its brakes with no fault of the passengers or the driver, and it's heading toward the cliff. The only way to stop the car from falling off the cliff is by hitting a bystander that is standing at the side of the road. If you hit the bystander, he will die for sure, and the 5 passengers will be saved. If you don't hit the bystander, he will survive, but the 5 passengers and the car will die for sure. Assume for this exercise that all the people involved are the same age, with the same capabilities, etc. What would you do? What is the right thing to do? How do you know if it is the right thing to do? Well, let's look at some basic principles.